make sure that you go into this business knowing that you are going to be spending some cash. You gotta spend the cash to make the cash back. Hola mi gente bella y bienvenidos a mi canal. My name is Sandra if you're the first time here, and welcome to my channel. And in this channel you'll be learning about everything high-end or luxury candle making tips. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. In today's video, as you can see from the title, we'll be talking about candle making tips, and I'm gonna be calling this more like what you not gonna do. I have approximately 5 tips with 5 solutions of things that you should not do with your high-end luxury line candle making. So my first tip is, what you're not going to do is purchase a kit, a candle making kit, and then utilize that same kit for resale. Don't do that. Don't do that. Especially if this is your first time making candles. Like, I know the kit is geared for making candles and is like dummy proof, and you should be able to do the candle exactly to the T. But if you're starting a candle making line, especially a luxury or high-end candle making line, what would you use your kit to resell those candles? First of all, that kit has been used by many candle makers, first-time candle makers, and they all use that same kit to start off their business. So why would you want to blend in with all the other candle makers with the same vessels instead of trying to stand out and choose a vessel that is more high-end and more luxury and much more geared towards your business? So that is my take on why shouldn't you purchase those kits for actual resale for your business. Not to mention that those same kits, even though there might be 12 vessels in some of those kits, you haven't perfected that craft yet. So those kits are made for using to practice, to make sure that you like to make candles, and that you like to want to be able to be in that same this business so you can sell the candles to someone. So my recommendation to you is to purchase the kit and also purchase extra items in order for you to practice with, because some candle kits only come with maybe 6 jars and enough wax and enough fragrance for those particular 6 jars, and that's it. You don't have anything else to work with. So my recommendation is to buy the kit and also buy extra wax, extra vessels, and extra wicks, and also wick tabs, so that you will be able to stick the wick at the bottom of your candle jars. Not wick tabs, but wick stickers. You could also use glue guns, but with the glue guns you have to use a high heat glue gun, and it's much more safer for your candles to actually use the wick stickers. And I do use the glue gun, but I only use that for just testing at home. But when I do resell my candles, I use the actual wick stickers, which are a sure way to know that it's going to stick and it's not going to come out. Now, another thing about those kits is that those kits are 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 I don't want to say dummy proof, but they are kind of dummy proofed. They're made to work. So I wasn't perfect the first time I made candles, and I bought a kit, and I still made mistakes. I had some jars that had more wax than the other. The fragrance that I added to the the wax, I really didn't like because they didn't have that much selections, and I was just trying to figure out if I did like making candles. I did, however, when I did like making candles, so I went and purchased more items, but I did not buy the items that was in the kit because that kit was just too basic. And that's what I don't want you guys to do on your high end and luxury line candle making. I don't want you to get and settle for a basic type of candles, although sometimes going simple is the best way, but in a luxury line it's not. You have to go a little bit bougie, a little bit up there. You know, you want that little extra level of difference so you won't blend in, you want to stand out. Now my second, what you not gonna do is, I gotta show you guys this. And this is just a sample scent sent for me from one of the companies that I ordered candle fragrances from. And I'm not saying not to purchase scents, of course not. That's like the number one thing you have to do, one of the number one things you have to do with your candle line. But don't purchase the sample scents and utilize the sample scents as a tester. I know that I like to order samples so I know what that scent smells like, because obviously there's no smell-o-vision and you can't really smell it from your cell phone or from your computer or from your tablet, however you use the internet to purchase things. So you have to purchase the sample sizes so you could know what the scents are. And when I do order the sample sizes, I already have in mind what that sample is going to smell like. So in my mind, it smells like one thing, and then when I receive the scent at home, it's another. So then what you do is, oh, I don't really like this scent, and then you discard it, and then you're like, I'm never gonna use that again, and you purchase another scent from another company, or the same company but different scent. And then you get discouraged because the scent that you wanted is not what you thought it was. What, in my opinion, what you should do is, if you do have scents that you purchase and you don't really like, what I'd suggest is that you put it aside. You label those scents as a scent that you are going to be using in another time. This is what I do. So I label those as scents to smell in another time, and I come back to it maybe 2 or 3 weeks or maybe in a month from the day that I purchased it, and I come back to those scents. And the time when I first smelled it, I probably didn't like it. Maybe there was something in the air that did not mix too well with the fragrance at the time. Maybe you were cooking and you still had some leftover scent at home, or you were going to get sick and your olfactory levels was not that great at the time. So a lot of factors come into play when you did get that fragrance and you smelled it. So when you come back to it with a fresh take on it, your idea or your olfactory levels might be different at the time. Or probably you're thinking about starting a new collection, and then that collection, for some reason, you think that you must purchase new scents. But then if you go back to the scents that you thought that you did not like at first, maybe in that pile you might have that scent that you might add to your new collection. So I use those scents as references. I don't use those scents for testing, because those scents usually are, for me, are more for referencing back to the scent. For example, if you bought a vanilla scent from one company and then another company gives you a vanilla scent for free, you could always go back and compare those two vanilla scents, and one vanilla scent might be better than the other, and you might want to switch out the old vanilla that you had in your company for a new one. And that's why I keep my sample bottles and I don't use them for testing. Even if I did like that scent, I don't use it. I put it aside as a scent that I do like, and I order the bigger bottle, 16 ounce or a gallon, whatever that company has available in that scent, so that I could always go back and refer to the scent that I did or did not like. Now, my third, what you're not gonna do in your high-end and luxury candle making line is order inventory for resale and for testing. So when I first started, I ordered inventory for resale, and I didn't take into account that I had to also test those same jars, same wick, and same fragrances. So I didn't have inventory to resell. I had inventory for testing, but not enough to sell. So what I started doing is I purchased a set aside purchasing for just testing, and then I also set aside another inventory for resale. So I order, if the wick I have is CD8 wicks, I will order CD8, CD6, and CD, I believe it's 10. Yes, I believe, yes, it's 10. So I'll purchase one up and I'll purchase one down, plus the one that is recommended by the manufacturer, in order for me to have enough inventory for testing and also inventory for my actual product. So if the bags are, let's say for example, is 100, I will purchase 2 or more. You don't have to just purchase 2. You could purchase more than 2, and then one of those bags of CD8, CD10, and CD6 will be for testing. And then the same thing for my waxes. I'll have wax for testing, and I have wax for inventory, and then I also have fragrances for testing, and I also have fragrances for inventory, and the same thing for my vessels for testing and vessels for inventory. And also think about it, if you don't have inventory, working inventory, equipment or tools, how is it that you are going to actually use those for testing? How are you going to know if the wick works, or the wax works, or the fragrances works? Or if you want to take pictures for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok, or any other social media outlet that there is, how are you actually going to be able to take pictures of your products if you really don't have a working inventory? So that's what I do, and I don't worry about if I run out of my inventory for resale, because I'm using that same inventory for my testing products. So that's my take on why you should not just purchase enough materials for resale and then use that too for your testing purposes. Because in candle making, you're always going to be testing. You're always going to be changing some type of variable when you start out, and you want to also have the flexibility of utilizing your candle vessels to switch it up a little bit. Maybe you don't like the soy wax. Maybe you want to use another like another wick, or maybe you want to use another vessel. So you need that working type of materials in order for you to be able to test. Now, my fourth, what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna be buying cheap materials to use in your luxury candle line. Like, customers are not dumb. Like, if you're purchasing an actual, let's say, um, mm, let's say you want to buy a luxury perfume, like a Dior perfume, and then you go home, you open the bottle, and then you get this, you spritz it, and you don't smell anything. Like, you bought it for like $20. Now you know that Dior doesn't sell their perfumes for $20, but you thought you were getting it at a bargain. But when you got home, it was not what you expected. So you know what it smells like. So that's the same thing with your customers. You shouldn't be purchasing cheap things to save on money, and then at the end, your product is not what they expected, and then you get a negative review. You don't get recommendations from them because you get more business by word of mouth, and you don't get that customer to come back to you. So what I do suggest is, like I said, is save money and purchase something that is affordable but not a cheap material, because not everything that is expensive is good product, and not everything that is cheap is bad product. Do your research and see what is the difference between product A from company A and product A from company B, because sometimes there's not a big difference there, but product A is being sold at $5.99 versus product A and company B is being sold at $10.99. Is the same exact product, but one of them is being sold much more expensive than the other. So it's times that in that situation, then you go with the most inexpensive product, but it's because it's the same product. It's the same company that's selling it's different companies that's selling the same product, but you could get it at an affordable price. That is different from buying a cheap product and buying that cheap product for to save money for your business. Don't do that. Don't do that, because you want that business. You want to be able to sell a good product at a good price, so that you could have that person to come back to your company, and you want more sales, right? So don't skip on good product to save on money. Make sure that you go into this business knowing that you are going to be spending some cash. You got to spend the cash to make the cash back. Now, my last tip is my last what you not gonna do. So this is tip number 5. What you not gonna do is do everything from home. I mean, there's certain things that you can do from home, such as printing, something that you forgot to print, such as, a nice thank you card if you want to print that, handwrite that, you want to handwrite that, a nice thank you card if you want to do that. There are times when I forgot to put a label on the back of my product, and then I printed that and I put it on the back because I didn't have any more printed ones from my printing company. You could do that, but if it looks homemade, it's not luxury. You wouldn't want to purchase a hand drawn Louis Vuitton bag. Like, who does that? Like, I wouldn't buy that. Like, I'm sure you wouldn't buy that either. So not everything in your business should be handmade, because you are a home-based business. So I did purchase many of my thank you cards from an actual supplier, because I wanted my business cards to look very professional. Not to say that doing it from home is not going to look professional, but you wanted to have a professional look. You want to have a signature look for your company. And if you are not doing it from an actual printing company, then some of your cards might look different. The ink you might run out of ink, and then some of the letterings might not work for you, and then There's times when you're probably gonna be like, you know what, I'm just gonna stick it in there anyways, just like that, because I don't have any time to go get new ink. But don't do that. Don't do that, because that's not high end. It's not luxury. It's not what I would expect in my product when I receive it, is if I'm your consumer. So you think about, you be in their spot. Would you want to open up your package and then see your $50 candle with a $5 label, or with a UPS box that you could have that you definitely got for free, and you bought all this for $50? Like, I want my money's worth. If I'm paying, I want to receive luxury. I don't want to get something that I could have gotten at the dollar store for $50. So that's the same concept that you should do with your company. Don't purchase something that is cheap for your company, because it's going to resonate in your actual business. You don't want that. You want to be able to sell luxury and be able to have your customer have a luxurious experience. So those are my 5 tips. Those are my 5 what you're not gonna do, with my solutions to those tips. So if you enjoyed this video, and if you have any other questions, you should subscribe, like my comment, give it a thumbs up, and share my video. Oh, before I end this video, I wanted to also let you know that my book, A Beginner's Guide to Candle Making, is also out on Amazon. It's been out since this morning, but I couldn't update it. So it's also free. I do have the free PDF version, which is down in the comments below. So if you want to get the free version, you're more than happy to get it. You just have to input your email address, and then you'll get the notification through your email. If you don't receive it, then make sure that you check your spam, because it might go through your spam. But yes, it is completely free. I do have tips, I do have more information, and it's more in detail. And if you have any other question that is in the book, I can always make a video on it, or I could answer your questions down in the comments down below. So if you have if you want to purchase the actual book is on Amazon. It is for $5.99, and you'll get the paperback version of the book. But if you want just the e-book is free, and it's down below, and it's on a PDF. So this is the end of my video, and I appreciate you guys listening to the end. And if you like this video, hit the like button, comment if you have any comments, and subscribe to my channel. Bye guys. Why would you want to, instead of